I forget. And let me go to Vaughn.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vaughn Bernardes. I am the program director, co-founder, executive director of Carpenter Training Partners. We do train in Los Angeles, Lancaster, and San Fernando Valley. We train justice-involved individuals in construction through a 4-month process. I know I've been saying this for a couple of months now, but we are trying to plan on having our services in Orange County. I'm just running into a couple of roadblocks, but hopefully we'll be up and running in Orange County soon. And thank you for having me here.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Vaughn. And I did just give your flyer to one of my students that's interested in getting into union construction. So
awesome. Awesome.
I told him to let me know once he reaches out to whatever the contact information is on the flyer. So okay. Just giving you a heads up.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Carol, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Carol Frieds. I'm the OCCAP Secretary and the Admin Assistant of Human Works. I'm the one sending you reminder and recap emails for our monthly meetings, and I also handle Human Works and OCCAP social media. So if you have concerns or you want me to send me your flyers, you can just send me an email. I'll drop them here. Thank you, and it's good to see everyone today.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol. Chris with Reboot.
Hi, my name is Chris Maslon. I'm a police lieutenant at Anaheim Police Department, and I started and run a domestic violence intervention program for the male harm doers. And I'm also on the board of directors at WTLC.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Chris.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go to Danielle at 211OC.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Danielle Vander East. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for 211 Orange County. We're the 24/7 helpline for information and referrals. Hope to meet some of you guys in person at the Freedom Festival. And thanks for the reminder. I thought we had more time. But good to see everyone this morning.
Awesome. And thank you again for introducing me to Angela, she's on the meeting, and she is officially onboarded interning wise at Human Works. So thank you for making that.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Love the extra help. That's good to know.
Thank you. Jenilyn.
Hi, everyone. Jenilyn Santos with Chrysalis. Our office is in Anaheim, but we're a nonprofit organization that is focused on helping individuals in addressing their barriers to employment through providing them one-on-one support and resources that include licenses and certifications, clothing, transportation, transitional employment. But I won't go over everything because I see a lot of familiar names in today's meeting. But if you're new and haven't met me before, I will put my information in the chat. So if you ever want to connect about resources and see how you can refer anyone over to our program, I'm always happy to help. But thanks for having me, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you. Marcos.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Marcos Villa with Disability Rights California. I'm a senior advocate, also a veteran doing community work out in Orange County and Los Angeles, and happy to be part of the group. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Marcos. Kevin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin from Hope Builders. I'm the outreach coordinator. And if you know who we are and what we do, we provide young adults of ages 18 to 28 to career opportunities in construction, medical assisting, and child development. If you have any questions or you want to take a tour of the location, just go ahead and let me know. I'll put my information down in the chat. And the same thing as Danielle, good thing you mentioned the Freedom Festival because I thought it was in 2 weeks. So now I'm prepared.
I'm glad I'm doing the plug and the reminder. It's approaching very fast, so I get it. Time flies. Yanira, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is Janita Perez. I'm with Moms Orange County. At Moms, we serve pregnant women and their family throughout their pregnancy. And once they deliver up to the baby turns 1, we provide them with one-on-one case management, education, and resources. And we have a father's boot camp. So we want dads to be involved. So if you have a client that is expecting a baby or just had a baby and they need support, please send them over to Moms. We'll be happy to have them. Thank you so much, Megan, for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Carla with Unite Us.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Carla Reyna. I am a community engagement manager with Unite Us. I see some familiar faces and organizations that are currently a part of the Unite Us network. For those that are not familiar, Unite Us is a health and social service resource and referral network. And it's free for all nonprofits, K through 12 schools, and community clinics to join. So if you would all like to learn more, I will also drop my information in the chat. And great to see you all. Thank you, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Giovanna.
Hey, good morning. My name is Giovanna Flores. I am with Geo Reentry Services. I'm located in Santa Ana. And we are a program where we offer substance abuse courses, employment and education resources, housing resources, as well as case management. And we are a referral by your agent program.
Awesome. Thank you. And I think you have your counterpart.
Yes, Ms. Cervantes.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I am Magali Cervantes. I'm also one of the job developers here at Geo Reentry with Ms. Flores. And like she stated, we help with a lot of resources, case management, employment, and education is one of our biggest departments that we focus on. So we'll also be adding our information in the chat box.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think I got everyone. Doing my one last scan, but I think we're good. If I forgot you, I apologize. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with our agenda. So without further ado, we have Rory to share his story. So these are just some guideline questions, but it's your story. So I want you to be able to tell it however you want to.
Absolutely. I'm an open book, as you can tell.
Yes.
First of all, my name's Rory Folsom. I was born in Newport Beach at Hoag Hospital. Grew up on the peninsula. Went to Newport Elementary. Went to Horace Henson, Newport Harbor High School. And during high school and throughout my life, I was into martial arts and was running a Kempo studio at the end of Harbor and Newport Boulevard. When a gunnery sergeant came in from Vietnam and started training, asked me to go down to Camp Pendleton, and I got hooked. I joined the Marines in 1977 and excelled in the Marine Corps. And then I fell into nonsense. I did several tours of combat and got married, came back, and my brother-in-law was having a dispute with his roommate. We went to his house, a fight ensued, and the roommate ended up dead. And I spent, from that point, 30 years and 2 days in prison. The first few years that I was incarcerated, starting off as somebody that never even had a parking ticket prior to going to prison, ending up at Folsom Prison, Old Folsom at the time, was a pretty big culture shock. So people try to recruit you, try to do things. And I became a very angry man at that time. And I spent a total throughout my years of incarceration, 7 years in solitary, ADSEG. And yes, they were all my fault. I take full responsibility. I didn't let people try to bully me to get into a gang or the brotherhoods or anything like that. So I fought back as much as possible until one day at Solano, I ran into an old combat pilot named James Sneaky White. One of the most decorated helicopter pilots in American history, 144 air medals. He was in for murder. He's out now. He did 37. But at that time, he looked at me and goes, find the discipline that you did to become a recon Marine and do what you need to do to better yourself as a human being and for those that you were willing to serve before you came to this place. It was a shocking event in the cell. He became my cell partner. And from that point, he had started VVSQ with a gentleman named Geronimo Pratt, which was a great honor to meet him at that time in San Quentin. And then came back to Solano again because they were doing construction. So they sent half of us over to San Quentin. We started a veterans group. Then we came back and started another veterans group and then started the education programs. I got accepted into the Union Institute and University by my exams. They had 125 applicants. 4 of us passed the exam to enter the college. We all ended up with bachelor's degrees. And then from there, it just took off. I became a student addict, that you would say. I'm a lifelong learner. I got into the construction area in the prison, became an emergency plumber. Then he started getting into asbestos and things like that, which started into the safety development of my life. And then during that same time, there was situations in prison where people were starting to die. It was during the AIDS epidemic. A lot of people were dying alone in the prison cells. And some of us lifers decided to ask help from UC Davis and the hospice program in San Luis Obispo. And we got into the hospice program, got them in, taught us hospice technicians. And I was a hospice tech for 11 years. I served 271 clients to their last breath and their families. Then during that time, Doris Tate wanted to start an alternative to violence program. That was Sharon Tate's mother. And she called upon some of the veterans in there to see if we could start that. And it was a scared straight program to begin with, but we went away from that. Was for the youth. But then we had to get to the guys in prison to change their ways to get out of prison and be a productive citizen. And that went on and still is going on. And then AVP, and then breaking barriers and white bison, all the different programs we started developing inside the prisons. I got my drug and alcohol counseling certificate. I got my ministry license, my physical therapy license, and treatment specialist. And myself and another airman, Stephen Doobie, wrote a book. It's called Breaking Free. They use the programs in the prison to it's a motivational enhancement. It's looking in the mirror. They've had to stop this program because this is a counselor-led book and format. I just finished developing the self-development program, so you can have the book by yourself in your cell and work it, or at home. It doesn't matter if it's inside or outside. And then on April 12th, 2014, I was released by the governor through the military. Was greatly involved. the former mayor of Pasadena, William Paparian, the head of the military alliance for the lawyers and JAGs. They got involved in the case and got me released from prison. And from that standpoint, I got out to my first sergeant owned Dusty Diamond Enterprise. I became his COO and safety director. And from that standpoint, I started working with safety and all the different aspects and started what was called recreational therapy for vets in Orange County down in Newport Beach. Some people donated a boat to me because I live in Balboa. I should back up just a little bit because I should give great props to my wife, Pua. We bought a house down in Balboa with some of the things I've had. And we used this boat to take vets from Camp Pendleton and places. And I did music therapy, directional guidance, meditation, and PTSD, to know that there's people that were in combat, 30 years in prison, can still become a productive citizen. And you don't have to hurt yourself or others. There's not a permanent solution to a momentary situation. So with that, and then Newport Harbor changed their mooring laws where you have to own the mooring. So I had to get rid of the boat and had to shut the program down. But in the meantime, I go to the Lifers program. I was one of the first Orange County peer counselors for the Lifer program. And it's been fantastic. I got out from there and got hired by PSC, was ARB Inc., one of the now the largest pipeline companies in the country. I am their field operations safety manager. From my area of operation is from Fresno to Phoenix. So I travel about 5,100 miles a month, overseeing all the different projects from the refineries to water, 5 divisions. And it's life is good, and I'm just trying to give back as much as I can. And if I can be an asset to anybody or help or anything I can do. I was part of ARC, Anti-Recidivism Coalition. It was Steve Budnick when he first started to develop the program way back when. It's anything I can do and step in and use my time and understanding. Because it can happen. If a knucklehead like me in the time I was in prison can be a productive citizen and as angry as I was, I mean, I went through every anger management classes, but you have to dig in all the communications and just start to love yourself. And most of the anger comes in is from shame and guilt. And a lot of the guys don't want to admit that because the egotistical ideologies they have is, I'm the man, I'm the 800-pound gorilla in the neighborhood, and no, you can't tell me what to do. But when you break that down and let them finally look in the mirror, and the mirror is whole and it's not cracked, so they see divisions in themselves. Once they see that they are a real human being and they can be a productive citizen, it changes a lot of people. So if you have any questions, I'm open to anything.
Awesome. Thank you, Murray. As I kind of mentioned earlier, we were looking through he brought his Bible, like, what is that? And he's like, it's all my credentials and degrees and everything. And I mean, if you look at this thing, look at how big it is. I mean, he's helping a lot of people. I just think that you're doing good work. And I think that's great. And if anyone knows of a publisher to do his, he's looking for one for the self book. So I think that that would also be awesome. I know we do have individuals in here that may have connections. But thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for your service. It's never, never be forgotten. You know what I mean? And your continued service to the community and to veterans. Does anybody have questions for Rory? This is the first time on CAP that we've had a veteran share his story. So I think there's commonalities, but there's a lot of differences. So does anybody have any questions for him? Got a lot of quiet people.
Crickets.
We have, thank you for sharing your story, Angela, giving back to the community. A lot of people saying music therapy is priceless. Are there other ways to bring back, your music program? Danielle from 201OC is asking.
I would like to. I do the flute. It's a Native American flute. Playing with the guided meditations. I'd be willing to do a group if anybody would like to do that. And just in any aspect, I go to the American, I'm a member of the American Legion, Post 291 in Newport, and Veterans of Foreign Wars in Garden Grove. So I do talk to the guys quite a bit, and so if I'm open if anybody has suggestions.
So George with Project Rebound is asking, how do you get referrals? Just by word of mouth?
Just a word of mouth. It just I just have guys, they just had the Wounded Warriors on the water fishing tournament out of Newport. And then we have all the stuff out. If I have somebody, and I have police officers down in Newport Beach, if there's a situation where somebody's a vet and they're having a hard time communicating with them, they'll ask me some questions and I'll relay that to them and put them in contact with me, and I'll go try to intervene in ways, but not into any kind of criminal element or anything like that. But if it has to do with an emotional aspect of it before it gets to a violent situation, I'll step in.
Okay, so Danielle from 211OC said local rehabs would definitely want music with guided meditation. So I don't know, do you know of a specific one, Danielle?
Yeah, I actually used to work with a couple different ones, and I know I would case manage and teach groups myself, and I know definitely for all male rehabs, they're very weary about, who they want to listen to and who they take life advice from. So I think that's a big connector there.
Ooh, lost you.
Oh, sorry. I can always send you an email with maybe some connections, if you're looking to reach out to places that might want you to teach those groups. I know a lot of places, they do Reiki healing and things like that, but I think music is so powerful. And like I said, if it's somebody with, a past like yours that they can relate to on a different level, then I think that's super helpful and definitely healing.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Danielle. And then I'll you can send that email to me and I'll make sure that Rory gets it. So
will do.
And the little one.
Yeah, so cute. So was there anyone else that had any questions or maybe anything for Rory? Christina, was there any questions that maybe you might have? I know you're just onboarded at the Tierney Center. Have you interacted very much with any veterans that maybe are justice involved?
Yeah.
Or have,
Sorry, go ahead.
that might, that maybe Rory could give you some advice to help?
We actually just had two. We have one right now who's currently on probation. He's seeking employment. I think, and then we have another one who's his record from, and this is beyond my realm. I'm still learning a lot of stuff about, veterans who have been incarcerated and the difference, because normally we have veterans that all walks of life, but the most recent we have two. We have one also that his record has been clear for, his last offense was in 2007, but he's still struggling to find different types of work. It just kind of depends on what he wants to do. And a lot of times I feel like the resources that we have are for regular veterans, right? But not necessarily the ones that are straight out of incarceration. So, maybe even connecting them with you, if that's something that I know you said that you want to help advocate for them and all of that stuff. Are you willing to do that one-on-one with veterans that we have, or just anything like that, Are you willing to do them? Sorry.
If they need help and I have no resources to give them right now, but I can give them guidance and understanding on what it takes as a formerly incarcerated. After 30 years coming out, there's some adjustments. And you may think, oh, I got it all down, but there is some things that are broken inside of us that you have to really get a handle on, because it could be situational that could lift up the anger. It could be drugs or alcohol that could trigger something. So you have to put them in the understanding that these are the things that they have to do. If they were willing to raise their hand at the AFI station and really put their life on the line, now they have to put their life on the line for themselves. So that if they fix themselves, they'll help the community.
Yeah, and I think even having those one-on-one conversations with them too, even though we can provide the resources, that's not necessarily like the issue. We can find those through whoever, but I think because myself, I'm a civilian as well, so I'm working directly. That's one, not necessarily barrier that I experience with them, but I have to connect with them in a different way. I'm better and connected. Both of my family, my brothers and sisters, they've all served. But in addition to me not being a veteran and being a civilian, I also don't know what it's like to be formerly incarcerated. So I feel like even just having a conversation and being able to motivate them, or even sending them an email, in that type of way, to have that conversation with them and help one-on-one. Because I don't think there are any programs that connect specifically vets, like you said, that are in need of employment and other services straight from being incarcerated. So that would be great.
Tell me when and where that you want me to have a conversation with some of these individuals, and I'll do the utmost best to be there. Okay. Except from the 12th to the 16th in October, I won't be around, and I'll be out fishing for the World Championships and the tuna tournament. So I will not be. I'll be in the middle of the ocean, so I can't be talking.
And then in the comment, I see somebody asked for my email. I did send one, but I can resend it again, so it's a little bit closer down the bottom, but that would be great. And then we only have two right now, but we'll keep your contact information. If I don't know if that's in the chat as well, so I can just put it and blast it to the rest of our team so that they can go ahead and keep you in mind when we have those rare cases that do come in.
Sure, absolutely.
So Christina, just send me an email, and then I'll do a introduction to Rory with you, so that way you guys can connect. Okay. And we can also talk with Michael Carter about maybe doing something.
Okay, yeah, great. I'll forward the information to him too. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Carla with UNITA says, do you work with veteran resource centers and community colleges or rising scholar programs? I can see you being a great guest speaker.
Fulton asked me to come speak, but it got canceled. But yeah, at UC Fulton, I'm trying to get on some. They have two programs that comes out of the Lifer program out of Orange County. They've asked me to speak, and I speak to other groups. If somebody wants me to speak, I'll be there.
Cool, thank you. Any other questions? if you want to connect with Rory, just send me an email and then I'll make sure that I introduce you to him. If not, then we can continue to move on with the agenda. And thank you, Rory, for sharing your story and for offering your life experiences and all your knowledge in the future to other individuals within the community, because that's really what it's all about, sharing the story like in conjunction with how you've been able to maintain it. I think is huge, because that's how we're able to give individuals hope. And that's been, I think, a very big part of when we go inside, when we have the speakers go inside and share their stories inside Theo Lacey. That's been really powerful to see the connections being made, the light come back into their eyes and being able to see hope. That's really been big. And, you know, Joe Bilecki was a huge advocate for that. And so I
That's
really
fantastic.
appreciate that, Joe. So thank you. All right, so let's move on. And so that would be handing it over to Project Rebound to be able to present. You should be able to share your screen. Yep, looks like all the permissions are there, Doris.
We can, but I wonder, George, if you just want to just, because I can just put the slides in the chat. We can just, I don't know how you want to do that rather than, you know, just talking to a PowerPoint.
Well, I think at least just having that there as your reference would be helpful maybe to other people. I know some people are familiar with Project Rebound, but being able to you know, get more information, ask more questions is always great. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay. Doris, if you like, I can give a little brief overview. First, I'd like to thank Rory for a very impressive presentation. At Project Rebound, again, I'm the director, and my job is to work with the campus budget, staff, and interns. We have a total of 8 that work in the office currently, staff as well as interns. I provide support, student support for emergency student needs. And also one of the many things that I do is, and I really get excited about, is outreach. Our opportunity to go in the community and speak with other community partners, opportunity to go into jails as well as prison. I'm not really clear how the boundaries are designed or the system is designed in Orange County, but I can speak to the San Francisco Bay Area. And we work very closely with parole, probation, police department, public defender, DA. We work pretty close with all of these agencies on a different level. And we receive referrals from, you know, like Rory mentioned, somebody may say, why don't you check out Project Rebound and go speak to someone there when a person is kind of at a point where they're not sure which direction they want to go, if they're kind of straddling the fence. Our average age of students that are reintegrating into Project Rebound is about 38 years old. That's the majority of our students. And they work, a lot of them work, a lot of them overwork actually, because just being able to get out of prison and to get back into the community, some carry a lot of shame, and they're doing their best to reinvent themselves or convince themselves and loved ones that they're not the person that they were 20, 30, 40 years ago. And we encourage them to, definitely put in the work to make the changes that they need. However, it's important that we encourage them also to pace themselves and not try to do too many things at one time, and it just becomes overwhelming. Again, the average age being, the majority age being 38, we encourage them to like become employed with certain agencies in the area that offer jobs for folks that's been system involved. However, in reality, at 38 or older, we strongly encourage a career. A job is fine as far as to get them by while they're attending school, but we encourage them to look into a career because they have a huge amount of experience, life experience, a lot of educational classes, motivational classes. They've taken things in prison that probably some of us haven't even heard of here outside in the community. So they're well prepared on an academic level, though it may not have been structured where they received a degree. A lot of these folks are self-learned and they did a lot of reading, they had a lot of time, they had different groups inside prison that they worked with to prepare them for reintegration. But the reality is for some that you're just not as young as you used to be, and you're not going to be able to do certain jobs for the length of time that you may need to prepare for retirement or to take care of family or whatever your goals are. But with a career, once you receive a degree, it makes a huge difference because now, depending on the degree, you can work in several areas, and you can come with a specific focus, and you can combine your life experience along with your academia and the ability to work with people. And mentally, you'll probably last a lot longer than you will physically if you're doing really physical hard work. So yeah, at Project Rebound San Francisco, we take all comers. We work with veterans. And the reason I asked earlier, because sometimes our veterans come to us from Swartz, a Plowshare, and they come in from other, organizations as well. But we're definitely here to work with the reintegration population, men and women. And we're prepared based on the 53 years or 54 years that we've been around and the example set by Dr. John Irwin. We're pretty much prepared to deal with most situations, whether it's women with children, whether it's folks that haven't established reunification with families. So though it's education that is our primary focus, higher education is our primary focus, we look at the individual and try our best to provide wraparound services where there's need, wherever there may be a need, whether it's mental health, whatever they medical, we position ourselves and strive and take pride in being able to assist them in as many areas as we can. Not to take up, the entire time that we have to make a presentation, but I'm attempting to just give you a general idea of the mindset at San Francisco State University Project Rebound. Doris?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that we are now 15 campuses strong. However, because San Francisco State has been around for so long, we are currently able to offer more extensive services than maybe a CSU campus in your area. I did drop a brochure in the chat that shows all the campuses that currently have a Project Rebound program and contact information. And so what all our programs are doing is we meet the students where they are, because higher education is highly confusing. We make it difficult for students to access higher education. Many of the students I speak with already have college credits or even degrees. You know, sometimes, especially the lifer population, may come with 4 or 5 associate's degrees, and it's really time to put those credits to work towards a bachelor's. But a lot of students don't know where to start. So if you have somebody that you're working with who's just interested in higher education, curious about higher education, but doesn't know where to begin, Project Rebound would be the perfect place, because we can help students understand where they are in the process. Do they have to go back to a community college and get, you know, a certain class that the university wants for admission? These are all questions that we can assist students with. How does financial aid work? Let's face it, education is expensive. So that's always a concern for our students. They're, like George mentioned, they're older, they may have family responsibilities, and the sense of like, I have to make up for lost time. And so we're working a lot with students understanding how to finance their education without going into debt. There's lots of resources available, and to just help them to make an informed decision. At San Francisco State, we actually are able to offer students a free class, no cost to the students. So these are degree applicable college level courses. Every student can take one per semester. We pay the books, we pay the tuition, and allow students to test drive the campus, but also find out who they are on the outside as students. What is it like to be on a college campus? And if I just may go back to our previous slide, we really view education as an effective tool, not just for academic and professional reintegration, but really for social reintegration, right? To learn how to be in the classroom with other people that are very different from yourself, different genders, you know, interact with folks, join a club, and develop your social muscle again, because many of our students don't necessarily reintegrate, they may integrate for the very first time. And so we've learned that college can be a perfect setting to strengthen those social muscles for those who are interested. And so I can drop that PDF for the application in the chat, so you know how to get in touch with us. We can link you to any of the other CSU campuses for warm handoffs. We like to do that with our students. We don't just tell them go here and there. We like to literally walk them through whatever is needed for them to get involved with us. And yeah, I think that's it. And we can just open up the floor for questions if you have specific questions for us.
And may I quickly add that a lot of our referrals come from letters. Our letters to folks in prison are very, very vital to the organization. We've had folks that we've worked with for several years to get parole dates. Some of them, we've gone through the disappointment with them. Their families come into the office to speak with us directly, asking for support letters. And unfortunately, everybody haven't been able to come home, but we're still working on it. As long as one person is there, we'll be working to try to get them out of there and give them an opportunity. And the socialization piece, we know prison kind of encourages antisocial behavior and violence or threat of violence pretty much at all times. When they arrive at Project Rebound, we offer a culture, a positive environment, and well, some of you know that haven't been impacted by the system, how lonely it can be attending school if you don't belong to an organization and nobody knows you, or it's very lonely. Well, for folks coming out of incarceration, it's even a greater impact because they don't know anyone and they're unfamiliar with being in the community. And what we try to provide is those, as Doris said, a social model where we can support them in many areas as we can, so they can actually focus on academia and reintegration.
Awesome. Thank you, George, and thank you, Doris, for your presentation and, opening up the floor for like conversations. I think, what you talk about, the social aspect is very huge because there is that giving them the tools and helping them reintegrate that social aspect is huge. And then when you try to add in trying to navigate the education system and, you know, just trying to be like, especially for more of the males, they just say like, I can do everything. And it's like, no, you need to slowly add to your plate because there's going to be triggers that happen in between. And so you need to be able to process that and not overwhelm yourself. But there's always that, you know, being able to provide for yourself or being able to provide for your family. And it's so expensive to live in California that's always, that's the reoccurring conversations that I'm always having with clients is that piece of it's so expensive to live here, you know, and I want to go to school. You know, I don't really have time to go to school because I'm working. And it's like, you know, let's try to get you on that career path. Let's try to get you, you know, what you guys are saying is, you know, that's the career. You know, the career is really important. You're so used to living in the now. Let's also think about the future. So let's, you know, short-term and long-term goal planning is really big. And that's a continuous conversation that I'm always having with students. So appreciate what you're doing and yeah, so thank you. Does anybody have questions or anything they'd like to add, you know, or just a statement?
There is one thing I forgot to mention. I am a Project Rebound student from Cal State Fullerton. Thank you for joining us.
Our pleasure.
Yes, thank you, Angela, for saying that, mentioning that, and she just, as I said earlier, she just onboarded as Human Works to be one of our interns, and she's already providing a lot of great insight and things like that. So we're really happy to have her on the team and having her here for the meeting, and so yeah, so thank you. Angela, is there any, or Angie, is there anything you would like to say?
When is there not? I get very emotional about this topic, just having gotten out sort of semi recently, I guess, when you look at the scope of like the time you did, and then you realize you haven't been out yet that amount of time in the free world. But Project Rebound has always held a special place in my heart because they contacted so many of us at Chowchilla. Like they were there for all these resource fairs. They were there constantly, and they're kind of like part of the reason. They were like the impetus providing me resources when I got moved to a private facility, GEO, to start getting Bakersfield College and Cal State Fullerton involved in teaching classes at the facility. So I was one of those people that Doris mentioned. I had my degree before, then I got incarcerated, then I earned like 4 certificates and 2 associates for like no reason because it was really just a pastime. And then really like coming out and ending up just having a master's, and now I'm thinking about my PhD, like that, getting that push to be like, oh wait, when you get out, you can actually have something as a result of all that time that you did. And like Megan said, when she's had to have these conversations with me, like the socialization piece, I didn't realize was going to impact me so deeply and my mental health that I went through. Like I was very shut down like a year after I got out. It took me that long. I just went on this trajectory of like, I'm going to rule the world. I'm going to do everything. I can handle all the work. I can handle all the school. It's going to be fine. And then I had a complete meltdown, which is completely valid and justified, right? So I think there's a piece that is missing in all of this that we talk about as a community. And it is the mental health piece. And it is the, how do you find employers like Megan that are going to be like, no, I'm going to sit with you through this, and I'm not giving you that assignment. Like you're going to take your time, like who are going to actually make it so you are successful rather than sitting there constantly just grinding like the rest of the free world folks to no end, and basically dumping your money into rent and not having anything to say that like, oh, this is what I accomplished. Like this is, I'm finally resonating with like the world and like what I've been through, my trauma. So yeah, I'm just very excited you're here, and I hope everybody gives this information to their clients if they can.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie. Anybody else have any questions for George or Doris, or any other comments or success stories for clients that they've sent? Because, you know, Cal State Fullerton is our closest one. So I know Lisa, who couldn't be here today. Her sister had a baby the other day. So She's also Lisa Nomura. She's also with Project Rebound and CIW. So she's another one that so connected to us with CAP and Human Works. So so yeah. Anybody else? Oh, Carol.
Yeah, I just have a question. Can you talk a little bit about your involvement with the Orange County Jail? What's going on there, or what you'd like to see, or any suggestions?
Well, I actually don't have any interaction with the Orange County Jail at this point. Where most of my outreach is in the Bay Area, or some of the prisons, and because COVID kind of shut down, well, it didn't it did shut down our visits to, contact with other folks personally. I'm not sure whether our executive director has some, idea of how things are going on in that area. Jason Bell, he's actually my boss, and he's the executive director, and his involvement with the consortium and all the other campuses. That would be a question I'd have to ask him.
Well, that's why I asked the question. It's such a great program you presented.
Thank you.
And I'm so enthusiastic about it. So you've got a good forum here, everybody. Let's see what we can do.
Thank
you.
Yes, thank you, Carol, for posing that. Vaughn, did you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to just share some success, because I think it's important to always, celebrate it, right? So from our Lancaster group that graduated a couple of weeks ago, we just placed 3 of our guys. They're working in Roseland. We have our first woman who we trained in Lancaster. She passed her boot camp with the union, so she's about to go into a 4-week training. And we have 2 other guys in LA that are in the process of getting placed. I have another guy in Lancaster that he's got picked up by Largo, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, contractors in the United States. So he's going to be working in Culver City. So the momentum is building. I'm very grateful for it, but it is a struggle. But we also need to, celebrate success. So I just wanted to share that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Vaughn.
Fantastic.
Yes, it's always good to celebrate the successes, and that's the main point of CAP. CAP is all about presenting information, collaborating with one another, and being able to recharge our batteries by hearing stories like Rory. For some of us, we can, there's success, but sometimes it gets covered by some of the, unfortunate things that happen with individuals. We're all human. And so it's just nice to be reminded that there is individuals out there and there's a lot of individuals out there that are successfully, living their life after being incarcerated, and just learning how it was possible, who it was, or what programs it was, or what it was in them that gave them that power, and then being able to share that hope.
Correct. Thank you, Megan. Because I do have on the flip side of that, 2 difficult situations. I have one where our San Fernando class, they're going to graduate on October 18th. And one of our guys, he's facing, prison time. He's got to go back on the 20th. So to try to keep his motivation up is extremely difficult. I have another person from San Fernando who needs to go back between today and Friday, so he's trying to get his family situated in case he needs to go back and do some time. So those situations are extremely difficult, trying to figure out how do we, keep the morale up, because, it's something that, I've never had to deal with. I can't put myself in their shoes, but I can try and support them the best I can.
That's all we can do. So does anybody have any advice that they would like to give on for those 2 instances with his clients, students, participants, about having to go back?
I haven't had to go back, and I'm very grateful for that, because I know that our system is systemically perpetuating the constant mass incarceration. But I think I know what Megan, Vicky, who's one of our instructors, and I usually try to do. It's like when folks don't pass our exam, or they're afraid of like, I've done all this work for what? There's like this kind of like anticlimactic ending. And But they also have to remember that, like, one, there's probably a reason why this is happening. And I'm not talking existentially, like really matter of factly, like there probably was a violation. There probably was something that was pending. There's probably an issue. So just being like sitting in that discomfort is like very freeing. And so maybe having a conversation around that, like being able to approach like and acknowledge your anxiety and acknowledge your fear and like face it and be like, yeah, but while I'm facing all this fear and I have to go do time for whatever time that is, you look how much you've accomplished. So the next time you get out, look how much more you're going to accomplish. And I just think like chunking things into those like little bite-sized pieces makes it so much more realistic. And also not shying away from the fact that like some folks just need to be held accountable for things. And sometimes you just have to be real with them. And I think there's a lot of this like self-care and let's be so nice and toxic positivity. And it gets you absolutely nowhere. Like if I didn't have people
Correct.
like putting me in my place all day, I don't know where I would be.
And
So
that's
Correct.
yeah.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you,
Yeah.
Angie. I appreciate it.
No, go
And yeah, for myself, I agree 100%. If the conversation is what led to this happening, and take full responsibility, because actions took place, whether they're actually guilty, but they put themselves into a position to where they could be found or perception of it, they have to take full responsibility. And once they do that, take that full responsibility, then they can deal with it while they're doing their time, address it, correct it, and when they come out, move 100% clear and free of that problem that can send them back again. And it's usually drugs or alcohol or attitude. The perception of people thinking when you get out of prison, you think there's a big stamp, convict right across your forehead. So you're going to act the same way. And those interactions with people, you have that wall up. So it's going to cause discomfort in you. So you're going to try to make discomfort in somebody else. So if you can just say, hey, people don't care if you were in prison, if you just act like a citizen, they don't care about that. Just do the right thing. And then people will know you for doing the right thing, not the wrong thing.
Yeah, I always say
Thank
it's
you.
like the scarlet letter. There's always a big F. I always used to feel like people could feel it and sense it, like felon or like violent felon stamped on me.
Okay.
But at the same time, there's this duality that we have to acknowledge in the system and the way that it is structured. There's not enough diversion programs. So I'm going to get on the bandwagon with like Carol and say, hey, is everyone listening? Diversion programs actually help. So that way we're not tossing people back in prison for violations that could have been probably resolved during their time out or probably captured before. So like, I know Megan is big into it. She's even like spoken to the legislature about it, which is incredible. Like there's a lot of things that we could all be doing in that space. So that's my platform. I am done.
Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or anything that they would like to say before I move on with our just the last kind of updates and kind of closing remarks? Oops. No? Okay. Let's see. There we go. All right. So again, here's the team. We've got everyone here except Lisa for reasons. So it's totally cool. We weren't able to go inside this month. I was getting my security clearance renewed. Can't believe it's already been a year. It's crazy. But I'm working with Melody to schedule going inside in October. And I can't remember which program. I think it's a newer program. And I believe that it's going to be Paul. So we're just trying to figure out which Friday. So stay tuned for that. So really excited to be able to continue to go inside and share the message of hope. What I will say is that when Lisa and I went in last month, and spoke to the women, it was really empowering. I know I did talk about it last month at the meeting, but it still really sits with me. How she was able to connect in that short amount of time with those women and really be able to provide that amount of hope for them. So yeah, If you don't have resources on our flyer, please submit your information. That survey link is always in our reminder and recap emails, so that we can add you to the flyer. When the speakers go inside and share their story, then I talk about the different resources that are available to them. And I do that in that order, because now that they've heard someone's story, and now that they've heard about some of these resources that they may or may not have used, it sits with them differently. They're a lot more open to receiving the information. And time again, I get so many people letting me know from the different programs that, hey, I had someone give me a call asking about the particular program. So I always think that it's great. So the Jennifer couldn't be here, Agent Sabota, this month. She's on vacation. I feel so bad for her. She was celebrating her husband's birthday, and she's back. And I think she went to the Steelers game last week, which they lost. So I feel bad for her on that end. Rams won, woohoo! So anyway, so the PAC meeting will be next Wednesday, the 12th, at Streetlight Church. There's always food. And it's from 10 to 11:30. So if you haven't been to a PAC meeting, her information is on there, and she would love to have you present to the individuals. So we have the Freedom Fest, and then we also have, I know Lori's not on the meeting, but we are going to be doing a Money 101 class for individuals on October 20th. We're going to have a morning session and an evening session by Zoom. So this is framed in the context of someone that is justice involved. So, opening up a checking and savings account, budgeting for large expenses like rent, doing credit checks, learning about bad credit, understanding their paycheck, if they're having to prepare for garnishments, and just being able to ask her questions. This will be something that we do on a quarterly basis with her. And then Angela, would you like to talk about Freedom Fest?
Sure, I'd love to. I'll keep it short and sweet. So Freedom Festival, for those of you who do not know, was kind of ideated by Lisa Nomura, who could not be with us. She does our community engagement for OCCAP. She started a Facebook page when she got out of prison, and now it's evolved into our second annual Freedom Festival. So it's a celebration of justice impacted women and their families, specifically that intersection. I think gender responsive mental health and resources are not easily accessible. And so we aggregate them and bring them to those women and their families. We are going to be having ARC joining us, and actually CVS, which are very huge in LA and obviously Orange County. CVS is providing the health and wellness portion, and then ARC is going to be providing a lot of the resources. Human Works, of course, will be there. GEO is participating. Health Rights 360, Underground Scholars, Project Kinship, all the amazing community partners that we have. Returning Home Foundation has been really integral in making this happen for us as well. Thank you so much, Carol. And I'm just really excited that NTMA College is going to be sponsoring for the venue. So if there are any folks that are interested in the machinist and vocational sector for their clients, this might be a really good chance to get in with Steve Castaneda and chat with him. We are still looking, if you would like to have a booth, it doesn't cost anything. All you do is just email me. I'll forward it to Agent Svoboda, Jen Svoboda, and she'll take it from there. I would prefer that we get this done by this week, just so that way there's no last minute stress for anyone. I wouldn't want that. But yeah, there's going to be free food, family fun, tons of pumpkins. Please take home a pumpkin. We had too many last year. And it's just a great community celebratory event.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. And then I know we have some folks from Geo Group, and Yadira sent me the open house and the graduation. And I know tomorrow is the last day to respond if you want to go to the graduation. Would you like to talk about this? Someone from the Geo team?
Yes. So we have our open house on Tuesday, October the 11th. It's just an opportunity for you to come in, interact with the staff, ask questions about the program, know a little bit more about the program, and just tour the facility. We would love to have you here. It's going to be at 12 p.m. here in our Santa Ana office. We do ask if you can RSVP to Ms. Nashel McGrew. Her information is right there. And I also placed a flyer in the chat. The following day, October 12th, we are having our graduation. We haven't had a graduation since 2019. So we are backtracking to all of our graduates who have successfully completed the program. And we are celebrating them and their accomplishment in the program. So that would be October 12th. And like Ms. Megan said, we are asking if you could RSVP by the end of the week.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then CLO, which is another one of our community partners today, they have a workshop about the IRS. So what to know, I'm sure we all could use that. So that's by Zoom today. The QR code, you can scan it. We also posted it on OCCAP and HumanWorks social media, so you can always find it there. And then also the micro business grant, that's also available and that's ending soon. You know, that's it. Next month will be our final meeting for the year for October. And so we will be virtual next month only, unless you want to reach out to me and come in person. I hope to see you all by Zoom next month. And, you know, thank you again, Rory, for sharing your story. And thank you, George and Doris, for sharing information and making it more of a conversation about Project Rebound and all the great things you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So any other announcements before we log off? You know, I always love ending early to give people 15 minutes of their day back. So no announcements, going once, twice, sold.
Hey, Megan, this is Arturo. Sorry, there is a college, prison to university fair at Santa Ana College this Friday. And there's going to be a ton of folks from the various Project Rebounds, as well as Project Rise and some underground scholars. I think I sent you the flyer for that, but if I didn't, I will send it this afternoon. Yes. And it's Friday 8 to 5, and they feed them breakfast and lunch, and it's supposed to be a really, really good day.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, please email me the flyer, because I would love to be able to post that on social media and have also Carol include that in the recap email as kind of like the featured flyer with the Freedom Fest. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll send it this afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? No? All right. Well, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And again, feel free to always reach out and share different things that are happening in the community so that I can make sure that get it out there, right? So enjoy the rest of your day and see you next month.